And so it came to the time when I had to contact George and arrange another visit to the Isle of Man to show him the watch. And I think in my mind I'd sort of thought that if this didn't work, if this watch wasn't right, then really watchmaking for me was sort of finished, basically. I knew I couldn't really physically improve on that. So a lot hung on this particular meeting. I arrived at the allotted time at the house and he invited me into his kitchen where he does all his paperwork. This big desk where all the paper's spread out. And he just told me to stand and wait by the door there. Anyway, he continued doing his paperwork, shoveling bits of paper around and didn't say anything to me. That continued for about 5 or 10 minutes. Eventually he said, right, he said, let's look at this watch. So he said, follow me. So we left the house and walked down to the workshop. And on the way he said, your first watch was terrible, wasn't it? He said, I think you knew it was terrible. I don't know what you were doing trying to show it to me. What were you trying to prove? So, and how do you reply to that? I thought, this isn't good. But anyway, we got into the workshop. I followed him here and George sat down at the bench there and I basically just stood sort of to his left and put the watch down there where that pen is, and he opened the box. He wasn't very impressed with the box. He isn't impressed with boxes. Took out the pocket watch and he just held it in his hand, and he put his glasses on and his magnifying glass, and he just turned it over in his hand and looked at it, and then he said, who made the pocket watch case for you? So I said, I did. Then he turned it round and looked at the dial and he said, where did you get the dial made? So I said, well, I made the dial. And turned it round a bit more, and then he opened the back of the watch. At this point, my heart was just pumping 10 to the dozen, you know. I mean, this was the moment, really. Then he looked at the mechanism and he said, who made the tourbillon carriage for you? So I said, I did. Then he looked at the escape wheel and he says, very nice escape wheel. Where did you get that from? So I said, I made it, George. And anyway, with that, he just snapped the back to, put the watch down, stood up, and he says, congratulations, you're a watchmaker. I didn't listen to anything he said for the next 15, 20 minutes as he just paraded around the workshop, talking, really animated. And I've never seen this man like that. You know, and he's just talking about watches and horology and his work and my possible future. And my mind was just completely whirling away. You know, here was the end of sort of 7.5 years sort of quest to prove to this man that I could make a watch. That was something special.